Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Simple English Talks. I'm so happy you're here with us today. Whether you're listening for the first time or you're a regular here, we are so glad you joined us.
Hey there! Great to see you all again. How's everyone doing today? I actually had a really interesting morning. I was helping a friend practice for a job interview, and it made me think about how stressful those conversations can be.
Oh, I totally know that feeling. I remember my first big job interview. I was so nervous, my hands were shaking. I had practiced at home, but when the interviewer asked me a question, my mind just went completely blank.
That happens to so many people. And here's the thing, it's not always about your English level. Sometimes you just don't know what to expect. That's exactly why today's topic is so important.
That's right. Today on Simple English Talks, we're going to help you prepare for job interviews in English. We're going to look at the most common questions interviewers ask, and we'll show you exactly how to answer them in clear, confident English.
By the end of this episode, you'll know how to introduce yourself professionally, how to talk about your strengths and weaknesses, how to answer tricky questions like, why do you want this job? And much more.
We have a question for you right now. Have you ever had a job interview in English? How did it go? Write your answer in the comments below. We read every single comment, and we love hearing from you.
And before we dive in, please hit that subscribe button on Simple English Talks if you haven't already. We post new episodes every week to help you grow your English, and you don't want to miss a single one.
Okay, are you ready? Let's talk about job interviews.
Let's go. We're starting with the most important question of any interview, the one that almost every interviewer asks first.
All right, let's start with the very first thing that happens in almost every job interview. The interviewer looks at you and says, "Tell me about yourself." It sounds simple, right? But so many people don't know how to answer it well.
It really is tricky. Most people either say too much or too little. They either talk for 10 minutes about their whole life story, or they just say, I'm 28 and I like working hard. Neither of those is great.
So here's a simple formula you can use. Think of it like 3 parts. First, who you are and your background. Second, what you've done in your career. Third, why you're here for this job. That's it. 3 parts? Easy to remember.
Let me give you some examples. You could say, I'm a marketing professional with 5 years of experience. I've worked mostly in digital advertising, and I'm really interested in joining your team because I want to grow in content strategy. Short, clear, confident.
Or if you're newer to your career, you might say, I recently graduated with a degree in business administration. During my studies, I completed an internship at a local company where I worked on customer service. I'm excited to bring those skills to a full-time role.
See how both of those are structured? They answer 3 things: who you are, what you've done, and why you want the job. Can you try writing your own version right now? Write it in the comments. We'd love to read it.
Now let's talk about the structure a little more. The key phrase to know is, I have experience in, or I've worked in. These are perfect for talking about your background. You can also say, I specialize in, if you have a strong focus area.
And what about if you don't have much experience? That's okay. You can say, I'm new to this field, but I'm a fast learner, or I don't have direct experience yet, but I have strong skills, and honesty with confidence works really well.
Let's also talk about what not to say. Don't say, I need this job because I need money. That might be true, but it's not what interviewers want to hear. Focus on what you can offer, not what you need.
And don't just read your resume back to them word for word. The tell me about yourself question is your chance to make a real impression, to sound like a human, not a document.
So to summarize this section, use the 3-part formula: background, experience, and why you're here. Keep it to about 1 to 2 minutes. Sound confident and natural.
Practice saying your introduction out loud right now before we move on, seriously, and say it out loud. Speaking it is very different from just thinking it. You'll feel much more prepared.
Okay, great work so far. Now let's move on to other common questions you'll hear in a job interview. Once you know these questions are coming, you can prepare strong answers in advance.
One of the most famous interview questions is, What are your strengths? This sounds easy, but a lot of people say things that are too vague. Saying I'm a hard worker or I'm a people person doesn't really tell the interviewer much.
A much better approach is to give a specific strength and then give an example. For instance, one of my strengths is organization. In my last job, I created a scheduling system that helped our team finish projects 2 weeks ahead of deadline. That's specific. That's memorable.
Exactly. The formula here is strength plus example plus result. What are you good at? When did you use it? And what happened because of it? This is sometimes called the STAR method: situation, task, action, result.
Now, the harder question, what are your weaknesses? A lot of people panic when they hear this one. But here's a tip. The interviewer doesn't want you to say you have no weaknesses. Nobody believes that.
Right. What they want to see is self-awareness and growth. So a great answer sounds like, I used to struggle with public speaking. I get nervous in front of large groups, but I've been working on it. I joined a speaking club and I've already presented to my whole department twice this year.
So you're not hiding the weakness, you're showing that you know yourself and that you're doing something about it. That's a very mature, professional answer.
Let's compare two versions. A weak answer: my weakness is that I work too hard. An honest, better answer: I sometimes have trouble delegating tasks because I like to make sure everything is done correctly. I'm working on trusting my teammates more. See the difference?
The second answer is real. It sounds like a human being, not someone trying to trick the interviewer. And that's what gets you hired.
Now let me give you some quick tips. First, always prepare at least 2 strengths and 2 weaknesses before your interview. Second, practice saying them out loud. Third, make sure your weakness is genuine, not something ridiculous like, I'm too perfect.
Here's your practice moment. Think of one real strength you have. Now think of a specific example of when you used it. Write both in the comments. We want to see what you come up with.
To review this section, for strengths, be specific and use examples. For weaknesses, be honest and show that you're growing. That combination is what strong, confident candidates do.
Now let's look at a third type of interview question, questions about your motivation and your thinking. These are a little trickier, but once you understand what the interviewer is really asking, they become much easier to answer.
The classic motivation question is, why do you want to work here? Or why do you want this job? A lot of people say because it's a great company or because I need a job. Both of those are too weak.
What the interviewer really wants to know is, did you do your research? Do you actually care about this company? Are you going to stay or will you leave in 3 months?
So a strong answer sounds like, I've been following your company for 2 years. I really respect your focus on sustainability, and I think my background in supply chain management aligns perfectly with the direction you're moving in.
See how that answer mentions the company specifically? That shows research. It also connects the candidate's experience to the company's needs. That's a winning combination.
Another common question is the situational question. These start with, tell me about a time when, or give me an example of. For example, tell me about a time when you had a conflict with a coworker. How did you handle it?
For these questions, use that STAR method again. Describe the situation briefly, explain what your task or role was, say what action you took, and share the result. Here's an example. Once, a teammate and I disagreed about how to present data to a client. I suggested we meet and talk through both approaches together. We actually combined our ideas and the client loved the final result.
Notice how that answer doesn't blame the other person. That's very important. Interviewers are watching to see if you're someone who can work with others, even when there's disagreement.
Let's also talk about the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? This one makes a lot of people nervous. But think of it this way. The company wants to know if you're motivated and if you plan to grow with them.
A good answer. In 5 years, I hope to have deepened my expertise in project management and taken on more leadership responsibilities. I'm really excited about the growth opportunities I see at this company.
You don't have to have your whole career planned out, but you should show ambition and that this job fits into a bigger picture for you. That's all they're asking.
Here's a speaking challenge. Say the answer to, "Why do you want this job?" out loud right now. Imagine you're in the interview room. Use confident, clear language. Practicing out loud is the single best thing you can do before a real interview.
And remember, it's okay to pause before answering. Taking 2 or 3 seconds to collect your thoughts shows confidence, not weakness. Don't rush.
So in this section, we covered motivation questions, situational questions, and the 5 years question. The key in all of them is to be specific, show self-awareness, and connect your answer to what the company needs.
Okay, now it's time for one of my favorite parts of every episode, common mistakes. And honestly, I've made almost all of these myself, so don't feel bad if you recognize any of them.
Same here. Let's look at 4 really common interview English mistakes and how to fix them.
Mistake number 1, saying, "I am good in communication." This sounds wrong to a native speaker. The correct phrase is, "I am good at communication," not "good in." The preposition is at. So, I'm good at working under pressure, I'm good at managing teams, I'm good at problem solving.
This is a very common mistake for learners of all levels. The preposition at is used when you're describing a skill or ability. Practice saying it, "I'm good at." What are you good at? Write it in the comments using the correct phrase.
Mistake number 2, answering only with yes or no. For example, if someone asks, "Do you have experience with data analysis?" Don't just say yes. That wastes a great opportunity. Say, "Yes, I do. In my previous role, I used Excel to analyze monthly sales data and created weekly reports for my manager." Every answer is a chance to show your value.
Exactly. In an interview, short answers make you seem unconfident or uninterested. Even a basic question deserves a 2 to 3 sentence answer with a small example.
Mistake number 3, using "I did" when you should say "I have done." This is the present perfect versus past simple question. If you're talking about general experience that's still relevant to you now, use have. For example, "I have managed teams before" sounds more professional than "I managed teams" because it connects the past to your present skills.
And mistake number 4 is saying, "I don't have any questions" at the end of the interview when the interviewer asks, "Do you have any questions for us?" Always have at least one question ready. You can ask, "What does a typical day look like in this role?" Or, "What are the biggest challenges facing the team right now?"
Having questions ready shows genuine interest. It proves you've thought about the job. Saying "no questions" can accidentally suggest that you don't really care.
Let's quickly review the fixes. Say good at, not good in. Give full answers with examples. Use present perfect for ongoing experience. And always prepare questions for the interviewer.
And please remember, making mistakes is completely normal. Every single person who speaks English as a second language has made these mistakes. The important thing is to learn, practice, and keep going. You've got this.
Absolutely. The fact that you're here listening and learning already puts you ahead of so many people. Keep going. You're doing great.
All right, let's put everything together with a quick practice activity. I'm going to give you some interview situations, and you have to choose the better answer. Ready?
This is so much fun. And please say the answers out loud. Don't just think them in your head. Speaking out loud is the real practice.
Situation 1. The interviewer asks, "What is your greatest strength?" Option A, "I'm a very hard worker." Option B, "I'm very organized. In my last job, I created a tracking system that helped us reduce missed deadlines by 30%. Which is better?
Option B, of course. It's specific. It gives an example. It shows impact. Option A is too general. Almost everyone says they're a hard worker.
Situation 2, the interviewer asks, "Tell me about a time you made a mistake at work." Option A, "I don't really make mistakes." Option B, "Once I sent a report to the wrong client by accident. I told my manager immediately, we fixed it within an hour, and I created a double-check system so it wouldn't happen again." Which one?
Option B, definitely. Option A sounds dishonest and a little arrogant. Option B shows responsibility, problem solving, and the ability to learn. Interviewers love that combination.
Situation 3, the interviewer asks, "Do you have any questions for us?" Option A, "No, I think I'm good." Option B, "Yes, could you tell me more about the team I'd be working with and what success looks like in this role in the first 3 months?"
Option B every time. It shows you're already thinking like someone who works there. It shows preparation and genuine interest.
Great job, everyone! Now here's your challenge. Take one of these situations and write your own answer in the comments below. Don't copy the examples. Try to make it personal and real. We'll be reading your answers.
And remember, there's no such thing as a perfect interview answer. What matters is that you sound genuine, prepared, and like someone a company would enjoy working with. Real conversation always wins over memorized scripts.
Wow, what a fantastic episode! We covered so much today, and I am genuinely proud of everyone who stayed with us the whole way through. That shows real commitment to improving your English.
Let me do a quick recap of everything we learned. First, we talked about how to introduce yourself using the three-part formula: background, experience, and why you want the job. Second, we looked at strengths and weaknesses, how to be honest, specific, and show growth. And third, we explored motivation and situational questions, how to show research, self-awareness, and ambition.
And in between, we went through common mistakes, practiced choosing better answers, and talked about what interviewers are really looking for. That's a lot of very practical, real-world English you can use right away.
Here's a question for you to think about. Which part of a job interview do you find most difficult? Is it introducing yourself, talking about weaknesses, or something else? Let us know in the comments. We might even make a full episode on that topic.
And if this episode helped you, please share it with a friend who's preparing for a job interview right now. You could genuinely help someone get the job they're working toward. Also, don't forget to like this episode and subscribe to Simple English Talk so you never miss a new episode.
You are all so wonderful. Learning a language takes courage, patience, and a lot of practice. And every single one of you is doing something amazing just by showing up and listening. We believe in you.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, every conversation makes you better. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep going.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us at Simple English Talks. We'll see you next time.